Our next session is going to focus on the reality of fleet electrification when it meets day-to-day operations. So I'm absolutely delighted to welcome Lorna McAtear, who is Head of Fleet at National Grid, to deliver our afternoon case study for us. Lorna, thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a delight to be here doing this. Get used to that slide. It's the only one you're going to see. So, as Jill introduced me, I'm Head of Fleet at National Grid. I'm also Vice Chair for the Association of Fleet Professionals, so very often have lots of viewpoints from lots of different fleet managers are out there. And talking of fleet managers, hands up if you actually operate a fleet in the room. You have my deepest sympathy and my utmost respect, because absolutely everything is on your shoulders right now, and it seems that every company out there, no matter who they are, is expecting us to come up with the magic bullet, attend all of these events, do absolutely everything, and still keep our vehicles turning that wheel on the road and delivering everything to everybody. So, as I said, why do I kind of comment on that for fleet managers? Genuinely, we really have a tough gig right now. It's one of the biggest changes, I think, the transport industry has ever seen. Not only is the transport industry seeing that change, if you think about it as several little circle silos, you had the energy industry going through this huge transition as well. You have the digital industry going through a huge transformation, and you have the transport industry doing the same. Those three things have converged together, and smack bang in the middle is the fleet manager trying to do all of this work. They're trying to learn everything as we move forward. We're trying to trailblaze it all. We are trying to change government legislation and navigate everything that is coming our way. And we still have to deliver. And if you're in the truck side of things as well, that's even harder. It's bigger and the margins for profit are much, much lower. So the expectations to deliver with the pressure coming your way is a financial burden on everything that you have to do. But it's still good fun. What is it that we need to look at, and how long have I been doing this? So let me help put some of that into context. I operate over 10,000 vehicles in the UK. I have another 10,000 vehicles out in the US. I've been doing this, my kids had their last GCSE this morning, so since they were born. I literally came off maternity leave and was handed commercial fleet management. So I didn't start there, I started as an IT project manager. And when I got that commercial fleet management, I was even playing around with converting a Renault Zoe into a car-derived van. Anyone remember Smith's vehicles? So those were out there as well, so I played around with a few of those. It's been an interesting journey, and everything has changed. The first electric vehicle I ever drove was a Peugeot Ion, and I hadn't even driven an automatic car, so I nearly stuck my boss's head through the windscreen because I kind of forgot there wasn't a clutch. These are the things that we learn. Now, I've been doing this, as I said, for about 16 years now, and it's difficult in various places, but you're also at the front. You get an opportunity to change things and move things through. I joined National Grid 7 years ago. And when I joined, they were dabbling around with 7 electric vehicles because a few people had decided they actually wanted a Tesla. And I learned very, very quickly, so that was in 2019. In 2020, I put forward my 10-year plan, and I worked backwards. I looked at that target date of 2030 as it was then. It may have flip-flopped a few times and probably about to flip-flop again, but that 2030 target was there. Put that plan together and I worked backwards. I looked at all my replacement recycles for every single vehicle I had. I looked at what was out there in the marketplace. I costed everything as best as I could, knowing what was there at that point in time. And I panicked. And that was in 2020. And I looked at it and thought, I should have started 5 years before. It's a really long journey. And for all fleet managers, you start that journey thinking it's just about the vehicle. So does every one of your bosses that you're trying to deal with. They think it's just about getting a few electric vehicles on fleet, or a hydrogen one over here, or something else over there, and you just put them in. I've dabbled with the CNGs and the LNGs as well. I've dabbled with all sorts of different alternative fuels. Each one has an advantage and each one has a problem. But when you're trying to put all of this in, it's how you move it through there. And when I put those plans together and had a look at it, I very, very quickly realised, didn't have a clue about infrastructure, didn't have a clue about energy. And those that tell you, my colleagues at Grid will tell you, I still don't have a clue at energy, even though I've been there 7 years. It's understanding the differences in that technology, and it's realising that you need that infrastructure in as fast as possible, as soon as possible. So I'm going to mirror a couple of comments that were already said. So Ellen this morning that was talking about talk to your DNO first. That is absolutely one of the most critical things you have to do. I tend to think of it as a house. You have your house. You already know your capacity to the house. You've got all the electricity you need. But you're starting to build two things. You've started building your conservatory. That's great. You're getting towards the end of the project, but suddenly you decide you want a kitchen as well. All the builders helping you out only put all their materials in place for the expectation of that conservatory. They had no idea you wanted that kitchen as well. So they're now scrabbling around to see if they've got anything in that area to be able to do it. Sometimes they will, other times they won't. And taking that analogy even further, your conservatory is built and you suddenly want a plug socket on the other side of it as well. What are you going to do? You're going to run an extension lead because that's the cheapest. Are you going to dangle a cable across the top, maybe cover it with a nice bit of white conduit? Or are you going to take up every single one of those tiles and put them underneath and relay those tiles again so it looks just nice and neat as it did beforehand? It's all about planning. Planning is absolutely critical, whether you're planning your entire fleet replacement cycles, or whether you're planning because you're going out and putting in your infrastructure, or whether you're planning because you actually need planning permission to put some of these things through. Planning, planning, planning. And I sat in the group earlier and we were talking about all the different things that are happening, all the different legislation changes, and kudos to Mark when he did his piece there. It's absolutely brilliant that 16 years on, I'm actually hearing different vocabulary coming out of government people, because the representatives I've talked to before, it was all about their car, their parking space, and they had no concept of the van and truck industry and what it is that we needed to do out there. So going back to the plans that I put in, I got my plan together. As I said, I panicked. I then looked at the numbers. I took it to the finance director. I got it over the line. The best tip and hint I can give everyone, if you've got people earning bonuses, make sure it hits their bonus. Get it in their bonus line and they will deliver it for you and help you out when you get stuck. So we actually achieved a couple of months ago 60% of our small panel vans on the transmission side of our business. We hit our 60% target. That was the Rio 2 transmission target that we had in there from Ofgem, and we managed to deliver it. But I did that because I put that plan together ahead of time, and I worked out which vehicles I could change with what was available in the marketplace at that point in time. I have 1,500 4x4s I've somehow got to try and get over the line now. And we already know that today's market, under the rules pre-June the 1st, and I'll come back to that in a second, it couldn't be done. I couldn't get a 4x4 to do what a diesel does now. Even the hydrogen ones that were coming to the market wouldn't give me the payloads I needed. So there was a huge constraint in what is there. So what I've had to do is work hard with all the manufacturers and work behind the scenes with DFT going through legislation. I've got together with a load of other trade associations. Well, by the way, I'm not expecting any of you to have to do this. I'm doing the work for you. Get together with a load of trade associations as well to look at the 4.25 tonne derogation that was allowed and make sure that we got that over the line. And I'm ecstatic that actually June the 1st, it was implemented. So you no longer need that 3.5, it's accounted for that extra battery weight or the hydrogen that goes in it. So now we're working with the manufacturers to make sure they can start building 4x4s that give us that tonne payload and help us with that range, enable for us to do our jobs. But when it comes to the complex feats, it's not just those 4x4s and what's in the marketplace. It's also about the other things you can do on that journey. It's winning the hearts and minds of the people that you're working with. Some of the conversation, and Jill asked the question about drivers, and please take this with how it's meant to be. I don't care about the drivers. It's not actually the drivers that are the problem. It's the management coming down. It's them owning that problem for you. It's them understanding that they need to change their operations sometimes. It's them understanding that it takes you a lot longer to get some planning permission to put a few chargers in, and it's not just a click of the fingers and these things appear. Gone are the days that you can hand out a diesel vehicle, hand over the keys to someone and walk away. We now have to do full handovers. The technology inside all of these vehicles is phenomenal. Now, on one hand, it's brilliant. Give me all that data. I know exactly which of my drivers is swinging the lead and they're not charging when they should be, and they're telling me they can't do the job because they didn't charge overnight. I know exactly which ones are doing everything they should be and can therefore get out on call out. So this is the other challenge that I have as well. When we're doing call outs, or you've got that industry, it's all very well some of the people in here talking about, it's all right, you can put all your stuff out of your vehicles back into the grid. Not if you're on a call out and you need that vehicle at full capacity. So it really is about understanding your fleet. And the work I know Naomi and those do at Drax is all about what is your fleet makeup, how do you use it, where does that vehicle sleep at night? Because when you know all of that, you know what your solutions are going to be. And there is no magic bullet. Hydrogen will have a play in where it is. And trust me, I spent 2 days doing an intensive hydrogen safety course. And why I personally might never want to touch hydrogen because it scared the life out of me, it has a place. It has a place with certain niche vehicles. It definitely has a place in some of the bigger, harder to do industries, such as your shipping area. Where it can be made and stored is where it has that place, as far as I'm concerned. And the other thing that we have to remember when we're going through all of this, the UK is just one market. There's another 130 countries out there, each with different needs, each with different opportunities and disadvantages to a certain type of technology. So we can't expect one technology to rule everything. But if you want to do things quickly, if you want to move now, get your planning in place, understand what your route is, understand your fleet, what they do, get your finance directors on board, get it in the bonuses, because once you do that, they will be there helping you get through it and start. Whatever it is you need to do, you need to start now. So even if you've got commercial vehicles, find a driver willing to take a salary sacrifice car, shove them in it, get that bum on that seat, because you only get this through experience and you get lots and lots of different lessons. One of the first panic attacks I had was when I had a driver come up to me saying, I've got a pacemaker. Can I go anywhere near the rapid chargers? No one in the industry for about a year was able to answer that question for me to such a level that I could comfortably go back and say to that driver, yes, you are getting in that electric car. You are perfectly safe. Because the last thing I wanted to do was kill them. These are some of the lessons that we've had to learn. Everything from understanding the home charging side of things, equity. Does that driver have a prepayment meter? Can I actually challenge them to fill their vehicle and do the job, or do I need to make sure they can heat their house in the winter instead? How do you overcome some of these problems? Luckily, for all of you in the room now, there are plenty of solutions out there. When I first started, these were all the things that were new. So I'll go back again. It's all about the planning. Get your plans in place. Understand where you're going. When it comes to the infrastructure, I'm going to steal a woodworking reference. Measure twice, cut once. When you're putting everything into the ground, understand the future stuff that you need, but literally measure it twice, double check it all before you make that cut. And I've learned everything from reinforced concrete. It's great operating HGVs. You put in reinforced concrete, can't then dig it up and cut through it in order to put your channels in. So really start now, learn the lessons, take those basic lessons because they will come in good stead for when you start to look at the other stuff, and ask questions. Just reach out there and ask. Someone somewhere will have attempted to do this. Thank you.